Our next speaker is Greg Sutherland from Australia Post, which is another very valued sponsor of this conference. Australia Post plays a very vital role in keeping us all connected in the bush. But you can read Greg's bio. One thing he did mention that's a little bit off the bio is that he's actually an identical twin, and both he and his twin have twins. So he's a genetic experiment because it doesn't happen very often. So he said he's part of a genetic and breeding experiment. Please join me in welcoming Greg.
This is Bruce from Braidwood Post Office. Today, Karina Robinson renewed her passport. Mr. Fieldson comes in on Tuesdays to pay bills and get cash. And last week, Jamie Harrington had some Pilates weights delivered. Bruce said he hoped that they worked out. It was a bit of a laugh, and that's the point, really. A conversation is worth something here in Braidwood, and Australia Post thinks that's worth a lot.
Okay, thanks Catherine, and thanks everybody. It's a great privilege just to be able to spend a few minutes to present to you today. And in fact, it was a great privilege to listen to that last conversation, a really, really important one. Australia Post, I believe, does share a lot of common interest and a lot of common care with all of you for regional Australia. I'm not sure if people are aware of this, but approximately 60% of our assets, people, post offices, etc., are in rural and regional Australia. We're very unique in that regard. In fact, I don't know of any other business in Australia that can say the majority of its retail locations and the nature of its services are in rural regional Australia. So I do believe we have a common interest in the question of the prosperity and the future, and obviously in a global trading future of every regional community in Australia. Indeed, we have over 2,500 post offices in 2,500 rural communities. So we do care. And you know, for 200 years we've been at the heart of these communities, embedded in the way of life of the local people, including the farmers. The mail service over that time has been a special part of every community. It's particularly been a special part for small businesses and trading businesses because it was the vehicle to receive orders, to send out invoices and to get paid. It was an essential construct to enable any town in Australia to have businesses that could do business. But of course we know that's all changing. The world is changing fast, the digital world is upon us. Technology's transformed how all these towns and the businesses in these towns can operate. And we've seen this firsthand. It's of no surprise to any of you that our mail volume is down 50% from the peak year, which was 2008. And this may have created a perception that the post office now is some type of, leftover dollar shop sitting in every country town. And I just want to leave you one message, that is totally not true, and that actually I'd like to give you a few stories that help, I think, everyone here understand that the post office is and can be more relevant to the prosperity of every local community in every regional town than you may realise. Communities today thrive with thriving local businesses, and today's small businesses can all be global businesses. We've been talking about both the risks and the opportunity in this global trading environment. And every small business needs to ponder global markets now, in part because they can. It's because of the tools of e-commerce, online marketing and sales, home-delivered logistics, of which Australia Post operations have been reset for, and digital payments. This is the upside of the digital world. Now, every town and every person in every town can ponder starting and growing a business. And actually, we bear witness to this. Our post offices are now full of small businesses all around Australia walking in to send products all around the world. There is an underground evolution going on in the nature of work and the nature of opportunity where more and more people see the future of their community, their enterprise, including their agribusiness, to take things into their own hands and find their own markets with their own unique products. I love the stories. We have many of them. They happen every day in the post office. I once met Jeff and Cheryl Reid. They run Reedy's Lures in Humpty Doo in Northern Territory. They actually sell special custom-designed lures to all parts of the world, to anglers all around the world. I highly recommend their website if you love fishing. You will wonder if they design their lures to catch the fisherman or the fish. So it's a fascinating business they've created. Another customer's Grubs Up. They're selling insect-based protein from their farm production in West Coolab in WA. The founder, Paula Parnell, she was a finalist in our regional entrepreneur program last year and is again using the tools of e-commerce to sell a product all around the world. We've got Quality Pasture Bred Beef, a fourth-generation farming company, who are selling beef direct to consumers from their chinchilla farm through our Farmhouse Direct e-commerce marketplace. The message here is e-commerce is transforming the very nature of the opportunity for businesses, and particularly entrepreneurship and small businesses. Now, we know there's a revolution going on. We estimate now there's approximately 2.2 million small businesses running in Australia. Many of them, they haven't even got their ABN yet, but they're actually operating a hobby business from home first, and we see them in the post office. At least 30% of them are in the rural and regional towns around Australia. And these e-commerce businesses are accessing customers internationally, not just domestically. It allows them to scale their sales, to scale their revenue, regardless of where they're located. In many ways, the upside of the digital world is that the tyranny of distance is gone again for business, not just for communicating, but for doing business. In our network of over 4,000 post offices last year, we delivered small businesses products to 190 countries. We process now about 270,000 packets of product from businesses to markets every day, and we can reach 328 million delivery points around the world. This is a new vision for what that post office in every one of these country towns makes available. Every market actually is available through the post office. There is lower barriers to entry and minimal financial risk. It's now possible for small businesses in rural Australia to experiment with international selling. Doesn't matter what you make. It's actually much easier to add an international shipping to your website than it is to organise a bulk shipment into a foreign port. We have the rise of the online marketplaces who we partner with, Alibaba and WeChat in China, Rakuten in Japan, Blibli in Indonesia, Lazada across Southeast Asia. These are providing access to hundreds of millions of customers, often without the complex restrictions associated with exporting. Significantly, many of these consumers in Asia now have very positive perceptions of Australia. You would know some of the research. We were recently looking at a Bain & Company research on Asian consumers that found they were 1.6 times more likely to associate health and nutrition benefits to Australian-produced products over US, Germany, Japan and South Korea. So that's particularly encouraging, and it's particularly relevant that we should be talking about what that Australian brand should look like. The digital world and the tools of e-commerce can support significant economic opportunities for people in every town in Australia. There is a bright light from technology. It's not just dark skies of automation and job losses. There's this opportunity for a future of work where everyone can participate in entrepreneurship, small business, and can actually help their community thrive. Delivery services aren't the only vital service in a community. Businesses need other things to thrive. A recent town that we were visited was Middlemount. In 2006, their last bank branch closed. But small businesses in all these towns, including the farmers, need places to deliver cash deposits. Every time a bank branch closes, the post office transactions surge. I'm sure you've seen the news this week. You may have. The Commonwealth Bank, Westpac and NAB have signed new multi-year commitments to support banking services particularly relevant for rural and regional locations. They've agreed to pay $22 million a year each to support these banking services, and we're going to reinvest in these post offices to ensure they provide the minimum requirements that support basic commerce in all these towns. The other vital service for local communities are those that relate to government. I'm not sure if you are aware, but we're processing about 1.75 million passports in our post offices every year. We're handling about 250,000 tax file applications every year. We're working with children's checks and all the sorts of things that particularly business and commerce needs, particularly in rural and regional communities. I'm just giving you a sense that the post office is not dead. The post office is now not just a vital part for services in the community, it's a vital part for the new generation of commerce that can be created through online selling to global markets. There's a final point, of course, that the post office is an essential social connection. There is 1 million people walking into post offices every day. Particularly in rural and regional towns, it's an important social service, not just a commercial service. It sits there with the village hall and the hotel as fabric of these local towns. So I just really wanted to leave you with that message, that at Australia Post we are committed to every community, particularly regional Australia, large or small. We serve them all, we welcome everyone, that there's this opportunity to see the post office to continue to evolve as critical community infrastructure for small businesses and community services that welcome everyone. I would call it national economic and social infrastructure for a future of work where local entrepreneurship and small businesses connected to global markets are part of the fabric of every town, and that post offices are hubs for that fabric. So in many ways this is a shareholder presentation. All of you are our shareholders, and we want to continue to work hard for you, and we welcome your feedback, but we also welcome your support, so thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Greg. Australia Post clearly plays a really important role in rural Australia, and it was interesting to hear that 60% of your assets, human and real estate, are in rural and regional. So you definitely play and will continue to play a massive part economically and socially in the fabric of rural Australia. So thank you.